Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So about 3 weeks ago, I tested the Honor Win, which is a phone from Honor that had a 10,000 mAh battery. And at the time of release, that phone had the biggest battery in a regular phone we've ever seen. Like there have been phones with a bigger battery before, but they were like those rugged, very bulky phones from smaller Shenzhen startups. In terms of a mainstream phone, the Honor Win had the biggest battery that we have ever seen. Well, not even a month later, Honor has already lost that title to this guy. This is the Realme P4 Power. It packs a 10,001 mAh battery. Yes, you heard that right. 10,001. Like, so this has 1 mAh more battery than the Honor Win. It's absurd. And it goes to show how much Chinese brands are competing, that they're being petty like this. But hey, numbers are numbers. So by numbers, this is now the biggest battery that we have seen in a mainstream phone yet. On top of that, Realme is going to sell this phone in more countries than Honor is with the Honor Win, because the Honor Win is actually only selling in China, whereas Realme is launching this at the very least in India, Hong Kong, probably Thailand and like those Southeast Asia regions. So at least this is kind of a global phone. So if you live in India or Thailand or Hong Kong and you want a phone that will definitely last you at least 2 days, probably 3 days for some people, this is worth looking at because the retail price for this is going to be really cheap too. Now, Realme did not tell me the price as usual. I don't know why these brands, they give me all the products in advance to test, but they won't tell me the price. But if I have to guess, I'm pretty sure it's like around 300 US dollars. And just the battery life alone, it's worth it because I already did a battery test on the app PC Mark, which has a very standardized battery draining test. So I ran the test on here and I got some very, very impressive results. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's first take a look at the hardware. So this phone, despite having a 10,001 mAh battery, it is still very thin and light. It measures only 9.1 millimeters thick and weighs 209 grams. So super lightweight. This phone's actually a little bit lighter than the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and only a little bit thicker, 0.2 millimeters thicker. I also love that the phone has this OLED panel with quad curves on all four sides. Like, it's really ironic that, in my opinion, this is the best type of displays. It's like 98% flat, but at the edge, it curves a little bit into the frame. It's very comfortable to hold and beautiful to look at. So in my opinion, these are the best looking panels. But now, because of the trend, these screens are now used for mid-range entry-level phones, and flagship phones all have completely flat panels, which actually is not as comfortable to hold. And also the completely flat panel, it's easier to make too. Like, I'm pretty sure it takes more skills to build these type of curved panels than a completely flat screen. But regardless, you have that here. This is a 6.9-inch OLED, 144 Hz refresh rate. Realme is advertising a brightness of over 6,000 nits. But these numbers are always like embellished. Like, it just means like, oh, if you're gaming and you push a portion of the screen, it gets to 6,000. Like, realistically, I would say to my eyes, this is like a 2,000 nit screen. Like, you can definitely see it under the sun, no problem. And for a phone at this price range, the screen, it's really good. Do unfortunately only get a single speaker on the bottom, so no stereo speaker grill. Now the back side, Realme again did not tell me what the material is made of. I'm guessing it is plastic, but Realme has done a good job of making it feel very dense. Like, it took me a while to figure it out, because if it's cheap plastic, I would know it's plastic right away. But this feels very dense. I almost thought it might have been metal for a while before I kind of, did more guessing, look at the price point, and I realized this is probably a plastic bag, but it looks very nice. It does not attract fingerprints. And I like this kind of fake transparent design right here by the camera module. It kind of, it looks like you can see through into the charging coil, but it's all decoration. It's not an actual transparent panel, obviously. And it connects to this camera island there's 3 camera lenses here, but one of them, I think it's a 2 megapixel sensor that's useless. So really it's just a dual camera phone. You have a 50 megapixel main camera, Sony IMX882, f1.8 aperture. The main camera, it's fine. Relatively fast to focus. Dynamic range is pretty good. It's not a camera that I'm going to love, but I think at this price range, this main camera is pretty good. The ultra wide, unfortunately, is a little bit weak. It's an 8 megapixel ultra wide, so you can only use it during the day. You have a 16 megapixel front facing camera housed in a hole punch. And the phone also has IP66 and 68 for water and dust resistance rating. But of course, the star of the show, really, it's about the battery life. And as I said, I did a test and it did pretty well. I will get to the battery and the silicon pretty soon. First, I want to take a minute to talk about today's video sponsor. So this is the Anti-Gravity A1, a small, lightweight drone that can shoot 360-degree videos at 8K resolution. The A1 weighs just 249 grams, just light enough that you can bring it into most countries and fly it without needing to register the drone with the local government. So during the past month, I've actually taken the A1 to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, Bali in Indonesia, Bangkok in Thailand. The drone made it through airport security without any issue, and I flew the drone without any issue too. What sets the A1 apart from other drones is that it shoots 360-degree videos, meaning it captures everything around you. So this means, with a conventional drone, you will have to kind of try to find the perfect framing. You have to move the drone to make sure the camera is pointed at the right place. With the anti-gravity A1, you don't have to do that because the camera captures everything around you. As long as the drone is in the air, you're capturing what you want to capture. So the A1 comes with this headset called the Vision Goggles, which you wear when you're flying the drone. It's like wearing a VR headset, except you're seeing real-time 360-degree footage. So whatever the drone is seeing up in the sky, you can see immediately. Controlling the drone is very easy with this one-handed controller that can detect motion. So as you can see here, I just have to raise the controller upwards a little bit. The drone will fly up. If I don't want to move so much, I can also control the drone solely via buttons and dials on the control. The software also has this really cool flight simulator feature, which basically allows you to practice flying the drone using the physical controller, but you're flying a virtual drone. So you can get your bearings before you fly the actual physical drone. So Anti-Gravity is actually having a big flash sale right now until February 9th, where you will get 15% off all the bundles. And if you use the link in the description below to buy, you will also get a free landing pad for your drone. Thanks to Anti-Gravity for sponsoring this portion of the video. So powering the phone is the MediaTek Dimensity 7400 Ultra. It's a relatively new 4nm chip built for upper mid-range phones. You can see the benchmark numbers here. They're not going to compare to a flagship, but it's good enough to keep the phone running smooth and run any game from the Google Play Store. I also ran the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test on the app 3D Mark, and while the scores aren't so high, what's impressive was that the stress test was able to run 20 minutes continuously without performance dipping too much. So even though the ceiling of the performance isn't super high, at least the phone's able to keep performance running at a steady rate, at a consistent rate. It's not gonna peak really early and then dip very fast. You get consistent performance, which is more important than having high performance for a minute and it dips very fast. I think the consistent performance can be attributed to the relatively large vapor cooling chamber that Realme has built into the phone, because even after I ran the 20-minute stress test, and also when I did the aforementioned battery test, the phone did not really heat up at all. I could still pick up the phone and hold it. Whereas before, if we go back to 2022, so, that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip, that chip will overheat. I would run that test. The test would either not finish, or the phone would get so hot I couldn't even hold it in my hand. That's not the case anymore. So the silicon, it's not a tip-top performance chip, but it keeps cool and it keeps consistent. Now let's get to the part where you guys may care about, the battery life. So as I said, I ran a test on the app PC Mark. Okay, let's put this 10,001 mAh battery to the test. So I have here on the Realme P4 Power, the PC Mark app, and there's a Work 3.0 battery life. And I also have the same app loaded on the Vivo X300 Pro. So we'll hit run on both tests. So what this test is going to do is it's going to push the phone heavily using the silicon, the speakers, the screen. It's going to leave the screen on, basically push the phone hard continuously until the battery drops down to 20%. The battery for both phones right now is at 100%. And we'll hit run. And then I'm going to hit start timer on this phone, and then we'll keep track of time. So yesterday night, I started the test, and then today I woke up 12 hours and 40 something minutes later, and the phone still had 57% battery. I also ran the same test on the Vivo X300 Pro, which has a 5,700 mAh battery, and that phone did not survive through the night. When I woke up, that phone had stopped running the app. Okay, it's been 12 hours and 23 minutes since the test, and for some reason, the Vivo X300 Pro just stopped the test completely. Realme P4 Power is still running, And even after 12 and a half hours almost, it still has 54% battery. Even right now, you can see I'm at 56% battery. The phone's been unplugged for 17 hours and I have 13 hours of screen on time because I was running the battery test the whole time and the screen was on. So 13 hours of continuous screen on, continuous pushing the phone with the PC Mark app. And I still finished with like 57% battery. I didn't finish the test obviously because I didn't want to let the phone sit for like 30 hours. But basically, if I continued to let the test run, it probably would have ran for another 12 hours before the battery would fully drain. And then keep in mind, the PC Mark test is constantly pushing the phone very heavily. If you're using this phone more normally, like just for texting, sending emails, social media, occasional photos, this battery, it's going to be on pace to give you like 30 hours of screen on time. So 30 hours of screen on time, that's going to equate to at least 2 full days of use, like maybe even 3 days of use. Like that's crazy. So that means on a single charge, you're going to get at least 2 days of real world use, if not 3 days for most people. Also, the phone comes with a charger, 80-watt charger. It takes about 2 hours to top up, but that's because the battery is so large. And because the battery in here is so large, you can use this phone as a portable power bank. It has 27-watt reverse charging. So if you're outside with your friend and their iPhone or whatever phone is low on battery, you can offer some of your juice for their phone. Now as for the software, this guy runs Realme 7 on top of Android 15. Realme 7 looks and feels just like Color OS, which is a good thing because I love Color OS and I like Realme UI a lot too. It's highly customizable, animations are smooth, and you have, all the AI stuff that you would expect at this point, like generative AI photo editing, like photo eraser, all that is here. And you have Google Gemini because this is a global phone. So the software experience, I have no complaints. You have multitasking, split screen, able to run the app in floating window, all of that. Ultimately, the star of the show is the battery because I think the camera system, it's okay. The chip isn't the greatest, but just the battery life alone makes this guy worth considering, even as a backup phone if you don't want to use it as a main phone. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. It will help me a lot. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.